Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, back with more Christmas cards, and back with more flat shaker hot foiled Christmas cards. If you've missed any of the previous ones, I will have my 2021 Christmas playlist videos linked at the end of this video, and you can't miss them. So I'll have those in there and you can check them out if you haven't seen them yet. But to start off with, I am using some white cardstock, and I'm working on my Tonic magnetic media mat here. And I have the Trinity Stamps Layered Pine Forest stencil. I had a bunch of you asking me to use this stencil when I showed it in a release and review video, however long ago it was. My sense of time is gone. This is a huge stencil set. There's like 3 6x9" stencils, and there's the tree lines you can see on both sides. So you can just create whatever sort of scene you want. I went very non-traditional. I was in a pink mood. This would look beautiful though, doing it in like different shades of greens, blues. I did have some aqua colors pulled out, but because I'm working on an A2 size, I didn't have enough space. But man, you could just do whatever colors. I wasn't even sure how this would turn out with the pinks and purples, but I was so happy when I did it, and I was like, oh, you could do so many colors. So I'm using the stencil, I'm using some blending brushes, and I pulled out several of my Hero Arts Hero Hues Reactive inks. I've used these in videos in the past, and it's just been a while since I used them. They're fun. I really like the colors. I would say they're similar to Distress Oxide ink in the fact that they're kind of a fusion of like dye and pigment ink. Different formulas, but just similar. And I like the Hero Arts ones because there's just colors in them that I don't have in the Distress Oxide. So more is more, yay. Anyway, I went from like the pinks to the purples, just kind of layering the stencils, having fun with it. I did take the lightest pink, which was that taffy, and just lightly with my blending brush, kind of went around like the bottom areas just to fill in any white areas. Just, I was kind of thinking like pinky hazy, sort of whatever. And then I smushed one of the purple ink pads onto that mat there and just mixed it up with a little bit of water and added some purple splatter. And then I also added just clean water splatter, which you can't really tell in the video, I don't think. Maybe if you're watching on a bigger screen. You can do one of two things. I just splattered the water and left it. These inks are reactive, so you do see the splatter. But you can also, press a paper towel to it, pull it up, and you'll get a much more noticeable effect. But I was happy with just splattering a little bit of water. And then, of course, I'm going to add white splatter. You could use anything. You could use white craft paint, picket fence, distress paint I use a lot, white gouache, all those things. Lately, I've been obsessed with my Avery Elle white ink spray. So I just shake that up, pour a little bit onto my mat there, and was picking that up and just splattered. Splatter all the things. Especially with these though. I think that's also why I really enjoyed making these, because you can't have too much splatter, really. But also with the scene I was creating, plus how I wanted to make these into the shakers, it was just too perfect. So I ended up doing all of that twice, because, as always, if I've got the supplies out, why not make more than one card? And then after I did the card fronts, I have my card bases here, and the inside, like open to the inside. And I just wanted to do a light row of trees just along the bottom of the inside of the card. Because, again, if you guys watch my videos, I can't leave the insides of my cards blank. Card's not done till there's something on the inside. So I used the stencils again and just used like the one part of one of the stencils, like one line of trees, and blended that light pink ink, again, this taffy color, onto the insides. And then I would just shift the stencil over and repeat the process, kind of keeping it darker towards the top, letting it kind of lighten up towards the bottom, same as how I did for the card fronts. So shifting the stencil around, adding that ink, and then that was it for the inside. Technically, I will end up adding sentiments later on. So I just want to get that blended and done, so that way I can wipe off my magnetic mat and put it away, so it's not, taking up too much space, because of course I'm going to foil. So again, I've shown this in videos. This is just recycled packaging. This is actually packaging that Simon Says Stamp puts a lot of their cardstock in. And I've used this a lot. It's not marked as heat safe in any way, shape, or form. I would not even attempt to heat emboss on this, just FYI. It's been fine in my Glimmer hot foil machine, but I wouldn't try heat embossing. I'm positive that this will just melt with that level of heat. But with hot foiling, it seems to work. So I have my packaging that I trimmed down to larger than my card fronts. And then I'm using the Trinity Stamps Seasons, Greetings, Cut, and Foil die set. And the cool thing with this one is you can foil it like I'm doing, or you can choose not to. It comes with the hot foil plates, but it also comes with the wafer dies, like the word and the outline. It's all just one little package. So you can do whatever floats your boat. So if you don't want to hot foil or don't want to get into hot foiling, you can just use the words and die cut them and either just adhere them directly to the background, or you could adhere them to the packaging. I wanted to hot foil on the packaging, one, because it's just so cool, and also it puts the sentiment on the very top, you know, so that all the stuff I'm going to add, all the glitter and everything, is going to be between the sentiment and the background, so the sentiment actually shows up. But you could also just die cut the sentiment and adhere it to the packaging. Whatever works for you. So I'm using some purple foil this time. This is the Spellbinders Lavender Glimmer hot foil. So I had trimmed it down. I put the hot foil words onto my Glimmer hot foil machine. It was already ready to go. Put the foil down, pretty side facing the hot foil plates, the packaging, and then what seems to work for me is the shim, 2 pieces of cardstock, and the spacer plate. And then I am running this through my big old Spellbinders Platinum machine. After I've run it through, peel off the foil. I didn't get a perfect result, honestly, on either of them. I find I'm more often than not, I don't know, it's a hit and a miss with me. And perfection's overrated. So I did it a couple times. I was happy with the results in the end, and I'm okay with it. So I repeated the process. Apologies if you hear the heater in the background. I'm working in my garage now, and I got a big old garage heater, and I am not turning that off while I do voiceovers because it is cold here in Saskatchewan. It's the middle of winter. Anyway, I did that process twice, and then I put a piece of washi tape on my background so that I can just hold that piece of packaging in place so the sentiment's kind of straight. And then I just flip it over. And then I'm just using some red line tape around the back of the perimeter of this card front. And this little trick, I mentioned this before, but I forget who it is. I pinned it in the comments of that video, but someone gave me the absolutely beyond brilliant idea of having a piece of paper towel. I don't know why this works. I assume there's like a little bit of electrostatic on the paper towel. But when you're working with red line products like this, that red line release piece is a nightmare. I hate it. It drives me nuts. It's staticky. It clings to everything. However, if you have that piece of paper towel, it just clings to the paper towel. So you're not trying to shake it off your fingers. Brilliant. And I just reuse the same piece of paper towel over and over and over again. I set my stencils on the paper towel, you know, after I've washed them off, let it dry, use it to hold the red line tape. And then when I'm done, I take all those pieces of red line tape, throw those out, but I keep the paper towel. So it's wonderful. So I sealed up 3 sides of this perimeter. I add 1 more piece of red line tape, but I'm not going to seal that yet because I got to fill it with all my shaky, wonderful goodness, which again is a mixture of different things. I've got some Distress Clear Rock Candy Glitter. Perfect for snow. It's just pretty and it's not iridescent, you know, so it kind of works with everything. And then I have some Studio Caudia Snowflakes glitter. I showed this in a Simon's card kit unboxing video for December. I showed this stuff. That was like what kind of inspired this entire card. Because I was like, ooh, the snowflakes and the scene and everything. Yeah. So I stuck those in there. And then I also have some Simon's Unicorn Confetti Glitter. So chunky glitter, but with the iridescent bling that I love. So the whole mixture, and I put a lot. I go heavy-handed always with this kind of stuff. But yeah, stuck a bunch of that in there once I was happy with it. Then I can flip it over, remove that release, that red line release piece, and seal it all up. And then I take my scissors and I just trim off on the corners the pieces of that packaging that are like folded over and like hanging over the edges. So I trim those off, but it's still, everything is still sealed. We're good to go. Nothing's coming out. And then I've got my flat edge to edge shaker with the sentiment hot foiled on the top, which is just fun. Absolutely love it. And then I sit and play with it for however long. So after I did that one, I repeat the process and do the second card front in the exact same way. And then for the inside of the card, like I said, I wanted to add a sentiment. So I have the Trinity Stamps Winter Winds stamp set. Now this stamp set is designed for slimline cards, so the sentiment was too long for my A2 card. So I just trimmed them apart. No biggie. I can still butt them all back up together, make them work the way they're intended, but this just makes my life easier. So I ended up putting it on 3 lines, and I used my clear grid transparency to get everything lined up because my sense of eyeballing is not as good as it used to be. So I did that, and then I inked up the sentiments with the Purple Galaxy Hero Arts Reactive ink, stamped that onto the inside of both of these card bases. And then gave that, a minute or two to dry, because again, these inks have pigment in them, so they do take longer to dry. So once those are dry, I ended up using score tape, just coated the back of those shaker panels with score tape, and then just carefully lined those up with the card base, because it will completely cover the card base. So got those adhered into place, and then my final little, bit of sort of bling is I paired these with some of Simon's metallic dull pink envelopes, so they're shimmery. And that finished off these cards. Super fun, love the colors, got the shaker bits and snowflakes and glitter and all that fun stuff, and then the foil, which is really hard to show, especially on top of packaging like that, like the reflection, but really fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, I will link below the video to my blog post. I'll have the pictures in the blog post. I'll have picture links to everything I used, so you can check that out. It'll be linked directly below in the description box. And I will also have links to my Christmas 2021 playlist here on YouTube, so if you've missed any of that. I also link to all the corresponding blog posts in my blog post, so always check out the description box below the video if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching, for subscribing, thumbs upping, commenting, all of it. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!